Okay. So, hi everybody, and welcome to the library research session for Joan Anderssen's economics classes. We're going to jump in and get started tonight. If anybody has any questions, please let me know throughout the session. You can do that by turning on your microphone or the chat text box as well. Looks like somebody has his or her hand up at this point. No video yet. You should just be seeing the screen. I'm just about to share your screen with you. Whoever typed in Library 1 as their username, let me know who you are so I can write your name down so you get credit for attending tonight. Make sure to put that in the chat box at the bottom and I'll get you added to the list. Now you should be seeing my screen here. Seeing my screen, we have different issues, but that should be going on. Please let me know throughout if you have any issues with anything related to what I'm talking about or any questions. Please interrupt me. I'd like to keep it a little bit more informal for you, or if you have questions about your topic, I'll have a section for that as well. But I'm going to jump in right now, and the easiest way and the way we always recommend for getting to library and doing research is going to be through the arapaho.edu website. We want to make sure that you're either doing this or through MyACC. Generally, though, I just recommend arapaho.edu and then always clicking up at the top on library. It's at the top of every page. This is our poll. This works better than MyACC because this gets updated first. This has all of our current information. It has all of our everything. Just our go-to spot here. So, highly recommend coming here. This is where we post updates and things like that. There's several different things that we're going to do tonight. We're going to look for different kinds of information, including books, DVDs, articles, books, all kind of stuff. And we're then going to look at kind of searching databases directly for the articles. So let's see here. So I have a few examples that I like to use for this class. And we're going to start pretty basic here with the Google-like search. I'm going to hit oil prices right in this middle search box that we call library links. Hit enter on the keyboard or go with the mouse, either way. What this is going to do is is going to bring back all different kinds of results. So we have, first up here at the top, we have a print book. We have an ebook second. I think we're going to have ebooks here. And then we can also limit down on the side to different kinds of information. So first and foremost, the nice thing about using the library to do research as opposed to going out to Google is it's all free. Already paid for this with your student fees and things like that. So this isn't going to add, you don't ever have to pay for an article that you access through the library. Articles are expensive. We had a librarian who was recently talking to a student, and the student admitted that they had spent like $150 on various articles for a semester. I think it was like 2 or 3 articles that they didn't realize that they actually could have gotten through ACC. Information is really expensive to purchase. I highly recommend that you are using library. I don't want to pay for that, so I don't assume many people would want to. The other nice thing about using the library is that you get citations created for you. So I just clicked on the title of this book. I can see that this is available here at this shelf location in this section of the library. We have a few different little sections. And up here at the top of the page, look at the citation and APA, and I can't remember if you guys are doing APA or MLA, but APA, just clicking here, MLA, clicking here. This is something that you can actually copy and paste directly into your references or works cited page, depending on APA or MLA. That's not plagiarism. This is the only thing that you can copy and paste directly without giving it a citation, because that is what it is. It is a citation. And you can actually just copy and paste in right into your paper. I would proofread them, and I'll say it again, but I would absolutely proofread these against a style guide, and I will show you later where we have some citation tools for you available. But make sure that all the capitalization and italics and things like that are in the right place, because sometimes on the computer systems. So this is one thing that's really nice to be able to access immediately in the library. If you need a book immediately from home, we have tons and tons of ebooks. We have probably 500,000 ebooks when we have probably 35,000 print books, give or take on either side of those. So we have tons of books available to you. And books and ebooks are the same thing in terms of content. So what we can do here is if you wanted to get into any of these ebooks, a pretty quick and easy system here, we just then click on View eBook, and it's going to take you to the actual full text of the ebook that you can get to immediately. You download, print, all that kind of stuff. So again, pretty simple. It will pop up. I'm off campus right now, so it will pop up with asking you for your number. And that is going to take you to the ebook on the side. And same thing, this system also will give you citation tools that are already generated for you. So here. And one of the nice things about these ebooks is you can actually search them, click around, get to the full text of the book and the work here. So if you only want to read a small page or a small piece of this, that's great. Just, advantage of the kind of interlinked options over here on the side. Okay, so I'm going to click out of this and go back to the catalog here. And so while you can advantage of some of these different fill on the side, we don't generally recommend doing your scholarly peer-reviewed research in here because use things. This system here works very well. Somebody who came in late down on the list. This works pretty well, and you will get tons and tons of articles. We have 131,000 talking about oil prices. You are missing articles that are databases and things that don't always perfectly link to the system. So that's why this is books, DVDs, things like that you can check out from the library. In ebooks, it's really good for as well. But we generally prefer going to the databases, the articles and databases tab here on the library homepage when you're doing research for those scholarly articles. So I'm just going to click here on articles and databases. This brings me to this page here that has lots of different types of information broken up for how you're going to use it. So your instructor is very strict on the requirement of having peer-reviewed sources. So what I would do here is use these for background information. CQ Searcher is a really good one if you don't know exactly what you want to do with your topic, or you don't know how you feel about a topic, or need some keywords. So first step whenever I'm doing research on something I don't know a whole lot about, or I think I know a whole lot about it, one of these kind of background information, encyclopedia types of systems. So in this case, again, I'm going to stick with oil prices and see what we come up with. I'm just doing a basic search here at the top. And actually looks pretty good. This is a few years old, but it will still give me some keywords that maybe I'm going to want to talk about, think about in my research. Same thing. This one's pretty old. This is 15 years old, but again, we'll have some interesting keywords and ways that I might want to tweak and tailor my research. Paper on oil prices is going to be overwhelming and not effective. You're going to want to focus it down. So I click on U.S. oil dependence. I'm going to kind of skim through here and see if I can maybe find some other words. Okay, I'm also going to want to think about gas prices when I'm thinking about oil prices, even though they see the same thing. I'm going to want to think about those and remember that for when I'm searching for my articles. I'll look at imports related gas prices. Maybe I'd want to look at oil production. Would that reduce gas prices? Another way I might want to go. So I can skim through here. I'd probably actually read this if I was going to be doing a paper on this. And then I would also really consider taking a look at this pro section of it breaks down a hot topic within the bigger idea of oil prices and pro-con look at the top. If I'm on the pro side of the Excel pipeline, I might read both. Well, actually, I would definitely want to read both anyway to know what the other side is saying, kind of use those to tweak my searches. So you have a question here. I'm going to actually share this with everybody because to me here. But this was a question from one of the attendees. What about the effect of oil industry subsidies? Could I search this in the same way? Yeah, so what you're going to want to do, and we'll get into this in databases here in just a second, is think up kind of some sub-concepts within your search. So oil industry subsidies. I would still probably kind of take a look at these. Again, I want to have a really good understanding. Line here. I want to understand the whole idea, the whole concept before I really drill down into my advanced, because you're going to miss things if you have synonyms and ways that you can combine and separate your topic. And what I mean by this, I'm going to actually kind of pull up a whiteboard here. So I'm sharing. Excuse me. What I want to show you here is how I'm going to combine some different terms. So now that I have a few terms from here, I could look at oil prices. I'm going to actually, in this case, I'm going to do GDP. Just coming up, I saw that a few times in here and things like that. Or I'm going to show you a lot of examples tonight, but that's one of them for this purpose of this exercise here. When I've well, this is since I was here last. So when I have a concept, this is represent oil prices. Ooh, sorry, handwriting there, and this would represent GP. Ooh. If you can read that. What we're looking at here is we're going to be combining these two concepts in my search with a key phrases, and those are and, or. We don't use not all that often, and help remove things. I put in here lifted oil here in a search term, I would just be getting this pool of results. If I just put GDP in, I would be getting just this set of results. When I combine them with or, I get this huge pool of results. If I combine them with I mean this small pool of results here. So generally, you kind of think about how you can be in here. These outside are helpful because these are just talking about one of your concepts. These results out here aren't as helpful, again, because they're just talking about one of your concepts. You really want to be in here in the center. So I would search, in this case, oil and GDP. That would eliminate everything except for what is right here in this. Would have a really tailored search box. And I would effectively use or in a time if I was doing synonyms. So in this case, if I had oil prices over here, oil those to be included. I want to just look at oil. I don't really care if the author is using this phrase oil prices or gas prices. I want both of those. So in this case, I would search oil or gas in one box. I'll show you what this looks like. In the next box, I would put P. So it would include all terms and come up with a good search. So I go back here, sharing my screen. And what I'm going to take now is some of that background research that I did here, and I want to emphasize, again, that these are not peer-reviewed. Researcher, points of view, issues, controversies, all these here up at the top, not peer-reviewed. They have it right here. Is some obvious features of these peer-reviewed sources that are missing. Going through a peer review process is very extensive. Authors do research. They submit it to an editor. The editor then gets it to a peer review team. The peer team might then send it back to the editor, who would send it back to the author or team of authors, and go back and forth until there is actually a lot of consensus, authority, and accuracy in that paper. So something that somebody wrote for Time magazine doesn't go through that process. There's usually a lag on this, so this is why there's not really a lot of peer-reviewed information on incredibly current topics. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to go through and really come up with articles that are appropriate to be in a peer-reviewed journal. Big difference between peer-reviewed articles and ones that are printed in popular magazines. Those are pretty in how they look. Peer-reviewed articles will have abstracts and the authors and things like that a popular article won't necessarily have. These up here at the top, not peer-reviewed, so I think you have to have 3 peer-reviewed. These count. But again, are very helpful in the research process to come up with topics and developing your terms. So when I'm doing research, I generally start here in Academic Search Complete, and then see how it goes and move on to other databases necessary. So we've been looking prices. Another thing that's interesting to me is this idea of transit-oriented development, which is developing homes and businesses and infrastructure and things like that together. So it would be putting houses and apartments on a light rail line or bus routes and things like that, but basically making development choices based on transit. So another word for that is TOD. Here is I am making it so there are more results here because I'm including both of these 2 terms. I hit search, and since I know you need peer-reviewed journals, you can do it here, right on page before you even search. I generally prefer to do it after I hit search. My reason for that is I want to get a whole picture of what is about this topic. Even if I'm not allowed to use, I want to know what's being written in Time magazine. I want to know what's being written in newspapers. I want to know, and then I want to focus it down. So 1,500 results that are talking about transit-oriented or TOD, transit-oriented development or TOD projects. Thankfully, right here, this may not have been included had I not put TOD in my search. So it's the importance of coming up with synonyms for your search. Another thing here is I don't have the time, and I know you guys don't have the time to sort through 1,700 articles to make sure that you're finding the ones that are most related to your topic. So this is where plan price is another idea that I'm going to necessarily use here. This is where I'm going to institute the and idea. each of these is a concept. This is concept 1 and concept 2. So these are now being searched, and I have or between the synonyms. You can see what it looks like if I just do oil prices. We'll see if gas prices actually impacts it. Okay, so I'm going to put gas prices back. And so I don't actually get anything when I'm searching just oil prices. Gas prices actually brings back 2 results. So that's why it's really, again, really, really important to try to think of synonyms for your terms. That's that great. I also, these are only periodicals. These aren't going to come back if I hit scholarly. I'm going to have 0 results. So maybe I don't want to think about that. Maybe I want to try to tweak it in a different way. I'm going to actually think about the idea of maybe income related to transit development. Okay, at 11, that's a little better. Maybe I'll add poverty, because that same thing. I'd even try adding socioeconomic status. That may not, I mean the same thing. It's within the same idea. Here. 5 more. So again, any time that you can use or, it will expand the words that you are going to be searching. So they're all scholarly, peer-reviewed. One always double check, especially with knowing how particular your instructor is. I would click on the title, article. So now this gets me into what is called the article's record. First, this actually just means where it was published. I'm going to click on Transportation Journal and down here and double check that it is peer-reviewed. So a little double check step. Every once in a while something might pop through or you might forget. So this is a double check level that I would always do with your economics paper. And next thing here is that we have these subject terms. There is one here that looks exactly perfect. Sustainable urban development. That's pretty darn close to what we're looking at here. So if I wanted, I could click on this blue here. Anything blue is a link. And a whole new search with this topic. It's completely differently, and we could try and tweak some words, add words, change in here. You'll stumble on one of these really perfect subject terms that is exactly what you're looking for, and to your perfect articles. So just another thing to think about if you ever need a few little, I don't know, a tweak in what you're doing. And the other thing major on here is, of course, the full text. So this page here just gives you a little information about the article, wrote it, where it was published, when it was published. And then another big thing here is the abstract or summary. I always read or skim this at least. I want to make sure that my topics are in here several times before I go ahead and actually get into and start reading the article. That looks to me. So I click on the article and I get here into the article's full text page. The big thing here, again, is to remember that about how it looks. It's going to be pretty bland, not generally going to have a lot of pictures or color or anything like that. It'll have quotes and graphs and charts and data, things like that, but not anything that looks fun like a people or a National Geographic, things like that. Those are what I can think of right now. There's lots and lots of popular ones out there, but that's what I could think of. Our idea here, we could look at gentrification to change your change search a little bit. But basically, that's how it would be going into my full article. And again, I do want to point out your button over here on the side. So this will come up with your citation for you. Again, all the different options. And I would proofread these to make sure that it actually has the correct format exactly, but this gets you about at least 90% of the way there. Generally, if there's issues, it's going to be that they're all caps or it's missing something, like it or something. But really, generally, the biggest issues are that they are all in capital letters. And now it's entered into the system. So that's kind of how that works. So However, I'm not getting a ton of articles, so this is the time when I would go in and try another database here. So I'm just going to go back, say a few back button clicks, and go home in another database. So these work very similarly, however, they look a little bit different. Try my exact same search. And doing it in pieces because I like seeing kind of how they go. So if we just do that, we have quite a few results here. We have 38,670 results before I hit peer reviewed and before I limit it down. 28,000 results, give or with just changing it to peer reviewed. Databases, it's not as nice with modifying the search. You have to kind of here and click a little bit. So if you can, you could do the organization from the beginning. So we'll look at gas prices. Oops, prices. And want this again. This database is set up differently. I could have put oil prices over here. I have to put it and type it just out of habit. But again, they're all these functions differently, and you can kind of play with them. So we lost again about 9,000 results by focusing it down. So this is going to continue to save all time. And it's not that you need to get down to a set of results. It's more that you want to make sure that you have a grouping of results. There's not a whole lot at this point that I want to add to this search, so 1,400 isn't bad. In my other database, I was searching just the first half of this project, so I was getting tons and tons of results without really focusing it down. That's why I focused it down. So we're probably kind of at a good stopping point. Interesting, countering urban sprawl with transit-oriented development. Roadblocks and avenues for promoting low-impact transportation choices. Another one. So a lot more in here. And this doesn't always work where ProQuest always has more, so you never want to go to Academic Search Complete. This happens to be the case with this topic. So again, you can get in here to any of these articles. Click here. And it's going to, anytime you can do the PDF, it's going to look a lot nicer than the HTML or just plain text version of it. You'll actually get the charts and the graphs, and has none in this article, but you'll get all the formatting and things. It's just going to be a lot nicer. Oh, here's one. So this might not be as clean if we're just looking here at this full text option. So that's why I would go back between here, get that data on the version of it. So that's why I'd always click up here on full text PDF. Same, we have the cite button and citation formats. An example of where one needs some attention to the capitalization issue here. It's all pulling from what was entered into the database, so that's why this one has some correct issues on here. But good, so what you have to do is make this non-lapse. Okay, so again, pretty quick look here at kind of getting into two databases, but while we are here, please see, make sure that all makes sense. So I'm going to open a little poll. If you guys would just take a quick look at and then click on which one you think would, I don't know why that's looking here, but let's understand the difference between and, or, and not. So to get more results, are we going to use and, or not? So in there. So this is Kind of maybe a confusing, I guess, way then to have asked the question. Or will give us more results. When we use and, we're actually limiting down how many we have. So, and I'm going to show you how that works here. So we will have more when we use and. I'm going to pull when I'm just using or between two concepts. Okay, so then results here. As soon as I add an and, it limit that down and give me fewer. And yes, I do realize I'm using or here as well, but what I'm doing is I'm using and between my two concepts. When I have two concepts, I'm going to have fewer results than when I have one. Let me do another example here. I like the format of Search Complete for demonstrating how these look. So I'm going to go back here. It doesn't matter the content of the databases at this point. But if I'm doing income inequality now, and right now, so I have about 2,000 results when I'm just searching the term income inequality. If I then add education, I'm going to results. Because it's the concepts that took out quite a few results. In time, I use an or. I broaden the terms that are acceptable to the search engine and that it'll bring back. It's surprising that you actually have to use the ors between them. These aren't Google and they're not going to work as well. If you just put all these words in a line, it's not going to work as well. You will get some things and it could be fine for you, but you're not going to get as many results when you just put all these together. So the difference again, and connects the concepts and or connect your synonyms. You only want to put words that mean the same thing with or. If I'm doing research here and I'm finding I'm not liking the articles or I'm not that are interesting or kind of helping to prove my point, you might want to tweak your search a little bit. So if I'm looking at income inequality in relationship to education, I kind of change my mind and I don't really want to do that. I can, of course, change it to taxes or taxation. And completely new search with leaving income inequality right there and seeing the idea of how income inequality is related to taxes. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but and this comes up a lot within economics, is if you are searching for something that is against what the common belief and research is proving, you're going to find a whole lot. So that's going to be some time where you might want to think about when you keep hitting a dead end and keep hitting a dead end, you might want to think about the topic that you're doing and tweaking it maybe to set of basically kind of thinking about some terms that might be more provable in research. So that's something that you might want to just think about if there's nothing out there, there might not be something written about the topic that you want to write about. That's very rare. Most topics have quite a few articles on them, but just something to kind of keep in mind if after you've worked with a librarian and we can't find anything either, you might it's not the commonly held belief between experts, and therefore you might want to think about your topic a little bit. One thing I do also that I forgot to show you here is using quotation marks. So we did just fine throughout the research when not using quotation marks, but you might want to, especially if you're coming up with a lot of split words in your searching, is put your term in quotation marks. If it's very important that comes right next to each other, like it is in income inequality, you can put your term in quotation marks, and you will then be getting results back that are only related to the equality, not income in one sentence and inequality in another. I'll take those ones out and just make sure that income inequality is related exactly like right in that order using phrase. That's as a phrase. Okay, so let's see here. I promised I would tell you about finding some sources for citing your articles. There, again, on the Articles and Databases page or back here under Cite It, we try to get it in lots of places, will be those tools that you need. I actually think you might be using MLA, but either one, MLA or APA, and these are our recommended guides for what for cite your sources. This one's pretty helpful. This colored one, people really like this one. It shows exactly what goes where and how it should look. Notice on here there's no all caps, like there were some of those articles that we were looking at. So that's just something that you'll want to take out. Purdue Online Writing Lab, of course, Purdue OWL gives lots and lots of tools here under Formatting and Style Guide, and then you can do the works cited for, let's see here. There we go. Database. So this is exactly how you would want it to look. Quotations in the right place, italics in the right place, all that stuff. And it explains up here how you would do that. So again, the Cite It page is very helpful with different that we like to use if you don't have a print version of the guide. You have, I believe, get those in there for your writing classes. If you return that or if it's out of date at this point, these are always kept up to date here. So good versions of citation guides for your help throughout the whole process. And again, these are actually going to do both your in-text citations and reference page citations. So either way, you are covered with these here. And we give kind of the biggest, most commonly used ones here as well if you want to do that. You don't all have any I don't know. I can't remember which sources to use later on if this page is too overwhelming, this Articles and Databases page. This Resources by Subject is another good place that you can go. You can click there and then click right on Economics, and it's going to take you to the sources that we recommend for your papers. I didn't even go into Business Source Premier, but it looks very similar. It actually looks exactly identical to Academic Search Complete. It has a few different options. That is where it's by the same company, just a different pool of journals that you're searching. We do have, if you need some statistics, this is what you can use here. These are recommended sources here. And we also have specific peer-reviewed journals linked on this section as well. This is really important if you're having trouble finding source that your instructor, Joan, is approving. This could be another way. This will only search these journals when you click on one of these links. It's the actual journal page, and then we can search within this publication for specific things, and you can know that this is going to have articles in that they count. Since they're coming from this peer-reviewed journal, these are journals that have already kind of been pre-approved for you. So if you're having trouble, there's another good kind of research box to use here. On the economics research page, and these are all, I think I clicked on this one, but all of these would work in the same way. I have a lag in these, 2 years back to that's like 1 year. So just be aware that sometimes these won't be, especially here, this one and this one's slightly older as well. There is a little bit of a lag on some of these publications. It just takes, the publishers don't want to get rid of them out to send them out to everybody right away. So that's what the delay is there. That's nothing we can really control. Again, the Cite It page, and then economics subject page, or of course you can use just our homepage where we were working off of today. These are probably enough for what you're going to be doing and should probably get you where you are. Now, I always like to build in some to work on your topics. So does anybody have a topic that they would like to work on for a little bit? And if not, if you're feeling confident, the other piece of this research class is that you need to send me a chat in the today with an article that is peer-reviewed, and I will check your name off on my here before you take off. So either you can unmute yourself and ask a question if you want to take a look at an article. And in this case, I can't tell from this link here, Shannon, so what I'm going to need is actually the link to the article, not a citation. So if we are searching here, let me see where to grab these from. What I need to do is get a permalink here as well, but make sure you're getting a link to the article because I can't tell necessarily. I need to actually go in and take a look. Okay. Look at this one here. Like not the way that we generally recommend going in because you're going to miss a lot of research here. This one will be peer reviewed. I am going to this title and put it in one more place to make sure, because this is how specific I would be if I was a student in this class. I really want to make sure that my are reviewed. So what I do is actually kind of do a reverse search. I am now searching for a journal by its title. And this is going to tell me where this is located within the library and give some information about it. So this is actually coming from Business Source Premier, one of the journals we did not, or one database, excuse me, that we didn't go into. Yes. And I'm in a new browser, so I need to put my S number again.
Okay. It's about a paper that we're doing for the economic class, right? Because I guess I might have missed.
Yes. I mean, to my knowledge,
papers on Federal Reserves. I'd be looking up for this peer review.
Right now, that would be ideal, but if it can, I would probably do that for if it were me. But I don't know all your topics, so I can't really enforce that, you know. So
yeah.
So you'd probably look up something just to kind of start getting comfortable with my topic. Absolutely. And perfect, Shannon. So yeah, I'm seeing it's peer reviewed again in another place, so this looks good. So you are good to head out if you don't have any other questions. Any questions on anything?
I forgot now.
That's okay, no problem.
Time to get to that second database.
Absolutely. So arapahoe.edu/library. And then from here, if you click on articles and databases, and this is ProQuest. This is the second one that we were in. So we have here in Academic Search Complete, and then ProQuest was the second one.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I see some chats here that are coming in. See, searches, is there a specific way to? Is there anything else you want to add? I don't know what the rest of your question is. Okay. As I am doing my paper on oil industry. Well, looking at the oil industry. And I would put subsidies. And I'm just going to take a look. I haven't done this before, so I'm going to kind of start how I would think this through. Goodness, it's not really worth it tonight. Okay, there. So as I'm just kind of skimming these titles to see what things are being written about just by a fairly basic search of oil industry and subsidies. Okay, harm of hidden subsidies. That looks related. This one looks related. First one here. Trying to, so I don't know if you want to go international or not. Yes, I'm right now, correct. Is where we would send the article. So send that box. And whoever wrote Library 1, I'm going to need to know your name because I don't know who you are with that kind of nickname. Specifically, so let's go look here. Location over here would give us some options. And so this is kind of the problem with using these, but I would just do them individually. So on these locations, the reason that's a little bit confusing is there's several ways that these people have applied the subject of the U.S. So that's why you're kind of going to have to go in and pick them individually. So I'd probably do, or you could add in United States, and I'd put United States in quote. Use that location filter, which I've done right here, or add United States up here. The impact of agricultural subsidies in the United States. So I'm sorry, kind of doing multiple things here. But so take a look through those results. Maybe try putting into your computer and taking a look and seeing if you're getting close to what you're looking for. And let's see here. So I'm going to click on the inner journal. Show all. Perfect. Peer reviewed. Perfect. That looks great, Mitch. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Having a little trouble with this one. I'm trying to look up the Federal Reserve peer review.
Okay.
I just can't find scholarly journals.
Oh, do you have, which boxes do you have checked? Do you have both scholarly journals and peer reviewed checked, or just peer reviewed?
Review.
Okay. So in Federal Reserve, and what else do you have?
And money.
And money. Okay. What are you kind of writing about the Federal Reserve?
Just well, I guess I'm trying to remember exactly what the topic said, but it was mainly on just how they control the money and about the reserve.
Okay. So kind of like the value or benefits or drawbacks, depending on what you're writing about, or importance maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm trying to see how much control the Federal Reserve has over the economy.
Perfect. Great word. That's a great word. Or I see your question here about income inequality. We'll get to that one next. Just one moment. Reserve's mandate and economic analysis. Maybe even add bank. I don't know if it's kind of because I'm getting some weird stuff here. Okay, so let's see, sticky price. Okay. Yes, the word together, or the terms together. So I'm going to kind of hopefully make this clear. And thank you very much. Have a good night. The link, you're in ProQuest. I just need the one here. You could try this one up here at the top. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Let's see here. Or I'm down here would work better. So either this one or the other one where I showed you in Academic Search Complete, where it's on the side, it says permalink. Okay. And so I'm going to look in here. And this looks like it's peer reviewed, so perfect. Thank you, Tracy. And I'm sorry, Daniel, back to you here. This is kind of a tough one because a lot of this stuff might be in more like books and kind of the encyclopedia E-level articles. Yeah. Do you guys have to have your topics approved? You do. Okay, and approve this?
Yeah, but she did tell me to kind of like elaborate more on it, maybe to adjust a little bit.
Okay. I would think about maybe like impact, maybe like and interest rates. Is that kind of interesting to you? Maybe could be for a sec. See if okay, and then what that control can do to the economy. A lot of that's kind of almost background information, valuable and very interesting, but but you dig a little deeper to get to something that's actually going to be peer reviewed. Coming up, this one looks good. Changing the Federal Reserve's mandate in economic analysis. The stock market bubble. Federal Reserve Board in the stock market bubble. Of ignorance of the Federal Reserve. And what restore finance. This actually looks like there might be more.
Straight. Yeah.
Yeah. That looks like. Because I know the big thing that they have control over, and I know there's a lot more, but better here. At least to start with, and then if you kind of stumble on something that you can then tweak it to, like Federal Reserve policy and the housing bubble. I don't know if that's what's interesting to you, but that could be, another way that you might want to look at kind of their relationship with that issue.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Interest rate.
So Federal Reserve in quotes and interest. Actually, I did rates. I did oral, but it's probably the same if you did it on.
No.
So you might have, what do we have clicked that you don't? Hi, Tom, I got yours. That looks good. Thank you. Is everything spelled correctly? I know, or no typos. I know that that's but that.
I put bank in there, Federal Reserve Bank.
Oh, try taking out bank.
Three different ones.
I mind it anyway. I can't get to that one. Pairing. I'm sorry, I don't print. Well, looks like a kind of a broken link there. So do your into the Zolt, pull up the article, and I'm gonna do here is easiest is going to be just down here on this Goal abstract and details page. Click on that one. Pull down and give me this here. And how are you doing? Michael, Michael, Daniel, Perrine, and Joanne. Anything looks good, or quite either way. Okay, perfect. And might you send me an article already? That's what I thought. Just trying to keep track. Sorry about that. Perfect. Yep, that one works. That looks good. Environmental harm of hidden subsidies, global warming, acidification. Perfect. You are good to go. Thank you so much. You're welcome. And let me know if you have any help or need any help in the future. I'm happy we can do one-on-one and we can spend time focusing on your articles. Try that link again here. It's coming up just as kind of code here. It's an actual link. So try the link once more.